Oh, good evening, Pahrump. I'm Dr. Michael Reiner, your host of the Independent Doctors and Medical Practitioners of Pahrump. Segment of the show up until 7 o'clock will be live. And the call-in number, which we always appreciate callers, it will be 727-8750. That is 727-8750. And by all means, if you feel up to calling in, please do. As we close out the year, and we get ready to start a new year, one of the things I'd like you to do is, you can send a post in to Vern at the local, Pahrump local. If there's any topics that you're interested in me discussing next year, feel free to send those questions in, and we'll see if we can't arrange a show to address maybe a question or an issue if you're too shy to call in. And certainly I understand that, and a lot of people are. And as we close out the year, I wanted to bring up some of the things that we talked about as we've gone through the segments of shows. Well, we have a caller. Ray is calling in right now. So is Ray there? Ray the Flagman. Ray.
Good show, Doctor. Real good. The Flagman here. So here's my question. I talk to people at court all the time, and a lot of these people are hooked on these oxys and have all kinds of problems. Wouldn't it be more advisable for them to get a medical use card? Is it that hard to get? Are there so many people that are leery about getting medical use? And also, do they have to, like, renew it every couple of months or something like that? Could you let the people know?
You mean a medical marijuana use?
So if you would tell me on TV, I'll be listening, okay?
Well, Ray, did you hang up?
No, I'm still here.
Are you talking medical marijuana?
Yeah, medical use, right.
Okay, I'll discuss the medical marijuana. As far as the other pain medication, I have seen a fair number of people coming into the office lately requesting the marijuana use card. And they have actually seen, at least they're claiming, that reductions in the amount of opioid pain medication. And when I say opioid, that's the basic opium plant that everything is derived from. A lot of people say narcotics, and that's more like a police term, but the medical term is opioid medication, opioid-based medications, and everything comes from the opium poppy, and it's all derivatives of that vinca alkaloid molecule. But aside from that, the marijuana issue for those people that have gone through the process of getting the card have reported that they have seen reductions in the amount of pain medication they've had to take. And I can only tell you that that's what they're telling me. What happens in the real world, I really couldn't tell you. As far as what has to happen in order to get a marijuana card, you have to actually apply at the state level, and they send you the paperwork. You fill out your section, whatever it is that you're doing, and then you come in. There's a one-page form that we fill out as practitioners, and we certify that you indeed have a medical condition that could benefit from the use of marijuana or THC. And all I can say is then it's up to you to figure out how to procure that particular product. Obviously, I think it's a permission to grow. Some dispensaries may be on the way. I heard recently on the news that they were hung up in some legal litigation, and who knows what all that's going to be about. And when that does open up, then obviously you'll be able to procure that substance at dispensaries. Short of that, it is renewable every year. You can get them done. I see doctors that are advertising for that. We charge an office visit to be seen and a flat fee to fill out the actual form and certify that you indeed have a use. If you're using for recreational use, we're not supporting that. If you don't have a real medical condition that is using marijuana, please don't come to my office. You can go to somebody else, but you really need to have a medical condition. This is not a license for recreational use, and I wouldn't want to risk your reputation and mine for doing that. But they're chronic degenerative arthritis. Any chronic pain is probably the biggest thing that I'm seeing, but you can have seizure disorder, you can have cachexia, you can be a cancer patient, you can have even a failure to thrive. It does stimulate appetite. You can have chronic muscle spasms. There's a list of approved chronic conditions, and you can check out the state.gov or Nevada, it's the Attorney General's office, of all the approved conditions, and go to your physician that you're been seeing. He knows you, he knows you're prescribing pain medications, etc. He can do that. I don't know what the fee is for the renewal. Once you get the approval, it's like a driver's license. It doesn't go on your driver's license. And I will say that the detection limits that I heard about are pretty strict. So you want to make sure that if you're using cannabis, that you do so in the safety of your own home, and they will throw you in the pokey for driving under the influence. And there are detection limits, and they're pretty narrow. They're looking for people that are using and using in high quantities and frequently, and so if that's what you want, come talk to me, come talk to your physician and discuss the options. Sometimes even prescribing Marinol or Dronabinol, which is in 5 and 10 milligrams, is an option if you want to see how a product might work for you. It's an expensive product, but even a couple of pills, you have a legal prescription, and you can see if it's monitoring and helping your symptoms before you go to all the trouble to fill out the forms and get everything. Beware that if you're currently employed, you would want to check with your employer about their cannabis issues, and beware of what it might do to you down the road if you're applying for work and things of that nature. I think there's an interchange. Also, I believe if you have a criminal background, you will not be approved. There's some issue there too, but I don't know all those, and please do check with the state. Okay, so I hope that answers your question on the marijuana cards and the use. And getting back to the story storyline we were talking about is reviewing in this year what we had kind of talked about. We started out the year with a few guests and things of that nature, but I really tried to hit hard on diet and diet control. I call it the skinny on weight loss, looking at the amount of calories that you were eating as you go into the new year. It's very tough in the wintertime. Remember that 3,500 calories equals 1 pound, and that if you are set a goal to lose weight over the next year, try and figure out a way to lose X calories per day. And if you lose 100 calories a day, you will lose 10 pounds a year, and you can use that formula to try and decide what might be a good weight for you. You can go on, put your height, your weight, get your BMI. Body mass index is a calculation of how much fat is in your body. It does get altered slightly with different age groups. When you're younger and more muscular, a higher BMI is often, the numbers don't hold up. When you're older, you tend to have more fat than muscle, and it tends to be a little more reliable as you get a little bit older. With that being said, morbid obese is a BMI of 30. Obese is BMI of 30. Morbidly obese, as you start creeping up into the 35 and 45 range, that's very dangerous on your health, blood pressure, your heart, not to mention sleep apnea. And we did discuss how this whole weight paradigm affects just about every part of your body. It predisposes you to diabetes. It burns out your pancreas. Being obese causes for males a reduction in testosterone, a reduction in your energy level. Sleep apnea causes a reduction in testosterone level in your energies. If you're taking chronic opioid medication, there's a reduction in your testosterone level. Replacing testosterone is not one of those things that's easy to do. If you use gels or use injections, it's a real tricky area because higher doses of testosterone get changed by your body's natural chemical processes to actually yield high concentrations of estrogen. So it's not, we're always looking for something in a pill, but really it's all right in front of us. Better diet, eating better food, watching the carbohydrates, trying to eliminate those foods that get you into trouble. As we said, vegetables below the ground. They have a lot of carbohydrates in them that alter the way your liver handles the sugar. And these are the things that you're making these better choices, eating wild-caught fish. One patient came in who actually had been eating a lot of fish, and she decided to get a mercury level checked, and it was elevated. So with that, eating wild fish and a lot of fish, make sure you try and limit your portions to 3, maybe at the most 3 or 4 a week, just because there is a slight risk of mercury issue. And so with that, you'll want to watch those vegetables below the ground. Carrots, I know a lot of patients are on water pills, and they say, I have a banana every day. Bananas are very high in amylose, and we talked about that amylose stimulating high insulin secretions and throwing your liver and everything out of whack. And we also talked about the fact that as you gain weight, you make more insulin, you just it's just like someone rolling down the hill. And as you start to pick up speed, as you get more of a weight, as you get further down the hill, the harder it is to climb up that hill. And I will say that's true. And set your goals reasonably. Get a little exercise. 100 calories a day burning is a great amount. You'll lose 10 pounds a year. You'll lose 10 pounds the next year. And you will slowly get down to your metabolic rate. We talked a lot about how the biggest problem is in cholesterol and cholesterol-related issues is the carbohydrates, and how people who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, how it alters their cholesterol and how it chops it up into small particles. And we're going to be going to break here in just about a minute or so. And when we do, I'll come back. I'll try and bring up a few of those slides that I brought up, and we'll probably end up going into that. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Merry Christmas for all those that celebrate that. Happy Hanukkah. We'll be right back.